would you say is the benefit of understanding the power of pivoting?
For a while before COVID, short-term rentals were making people a ton of money. People were going, they were just corporate rentals, short-term rentals. But after COVID, when people weren't leaving the home and stuff, a lot of people who did either the arbitrage model or even just a typical short-term rental model, it wasn't producing the amount of revenue that it was in times past. So where novice investors lost, intelligent investors adjusted.
Oh.
And that's the power of knowing multiple strategies. And
Yeah.
that's the power of really being a transactional engineer as opposed to being a one-trick pony.
Listening to you today, you sound incredibly intelligent, very well versed, and I know that you started as an MMA fighter, you know, and for the last 10 years now you've been kind of engrossed into real estate, into investing. What would you say were some of the most important things that you learned along the way? Like if you were to talk to you 10 years ago, what advice would you give yourself?
Wow, that's a deep one. One of the biggest pieces of advice I would give myself is go against the grain. You know, as history has shown, and I talked about this, do opposite of what the masses are doing, right? And so when people are pulling out of certain strategies, I see opportunity. Like even I just talked earlier about short-term rentals. You know, you could there's different plays, and this is when you start seeing investors are sophisticated. When most people are pulling out, a really sophisticated investor would say, all right, it's not going so well now, but it's going to shift. So if they're able to hold, if they can forecast what's going to happen and when the strategy is going to start really doing well again, they could acquire multiple units from other people who are wanting out, just so they can prosper more in the future.